on Apple TV, Friends and Neighborhood or whatever, or
Friends and
Neighbors.
Neighbors.
Yeah,
So
really
good
love
one,
it.
man.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So we start the show and we're watching it and we're about 10 minutes in, and all of a sudden my son's phone screen comes up on the TV screen, and
Yes.
I'm like, this fucking idiot. He's mirroring on accident, but it's a Snapchat image of him with the text across the screen, and he's sitting on the toilet, and it says ran out of toilet, and he's got a toilet paper emoji, need help. And my wife's hopping up, seeing the message, going to get toilet paper, and I'm still there as a boomer thinking my kid is mirroring his phone to our TV on accident. No, that little genius just decided, hey, I need help right now. I'm on the toilet. Those two are watching TV. I will take over the TV and let them know I need toilet paper.
My first thought was, why doesn't he just text you? But I mean, what if you're not holding your phone? That's pretty genius, dude.
I thought it was pretty cool. I was impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely impressed. Oh, Justin,
your new toilet doesn't just supply toilet paper?
Spit out
manufacture it.
He wasn't on the new toilet. He was up on his ghetto toilet, so Grant, I know you're into finance and want people to spend their money properly. I spent 10 grand on this toilet right here. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah. It's actually, don't tell my wife, but it's actually starting to kind of annoy me because when you go in, it plays music and I'm getting used to the tune and it lights up like that. It's beautiful. I think I promised this last time, but Brandon, I'm going to edit a small video, 15 seconds, to show everyone that tunes in on our next show, like the toilet in the new powder room. It's phenomenal.
Did you buy that after you watched Friends and Neighbors, or did you buy it before?
No.
So when they came on with the toilet scene, you were like, way ahead.
No brainer. Yeah, that's definitely. I do not own a $500,000 watch, but I do own a $10,000.
You got the toilet though. Yeah.
Hard pass. Let's not talk
be in your neighborhood on Saturday. I'm gonna have to come by and just use the
toilet. Yeah, please come by and try it out. Yeah, of course.
Just gonna walk in the door, do my business, and walk right out.
It's an experience, Justin. It's an experience in there. Like not just the toilet. The whole place is. There's no more zen place to do what you got to do than my powder room right now.
But
I'm pretty confident. Here we go.
Let me out. We're gonna have a real bad. You're gonna have a really, really bad time, sir. This shit. Let me out. You're gonna have a real bad time.
Hey, Brandon, this is not the intro I was planning, but just looking, are we sure we open this up for everyone properly? Like, can people get in all right?
It's Juneteenth, man. No one wants to be here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, I'm tripping. All right.
Barbecue a day.
How come we didn't have the day off, JD?
Huh? No, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we only have so many corporate holidays we can do. Well, let's not fret. This will go out to thousands in the recorded space. So those that you showed up today, good for you. I got a treat for you and the people watching the recorded version. What treat's not the right way to describe it, but I'm going to sing a song.
Oh boy.
I'm going to sing a song today, Grant, just for you.
Okay.
I'm putting myself on mute. And
the cowboy hat is going to work, maybe a little bit. I need to turn the mic to the right setting. I need to turn this to on, and as usual, I get extremely nervous, Grant, when I do these songs. Here we go, everybody. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. Blame it all on their lies, or my own stubborn pride. No responsibilities, they swear. They don't want you to know that it's all a big show. The liars say their fees will be fair. And I saw the surprise and the fear in their eyes when Schlichter started filing his suit. And the judges will say you providers are through. And then you'll never hear me complain. Cause PIPs are disgraces where the accounts are low. Cause high fees take it all away. And be okay. Fuck that one, huh? Pets will lose all their faces. They will soon be gone like a kid's braces. Cause pets will end with no traces. No more lyrics. We're done with that. We're done with that one.
Jesus. I took a video. I'm sending it to Chad right now.
Decent.
Volume.
That was decent.
Decent. Okay, decent. Yeah,
Better than most.
Well, I was busy today. I had lots to do. Grant, this is the moment where you're supposed to say like something about Garth Brooks. I was kind of setting you up, but nothing.
Yeah, I missed the lead completely. Yeah, I did sing with Garth Brooks, so that's one of my claims to fame.
I was planning on you saying that, and I was like, no shit, dummy. That's why I did that.
I know. I was thinking Tennessee, but like I get all the Tennessee jokes all the time, so I didn't circle it all the way back to Garth Brooks. So I apologize.
Yeah, somewhere in your bio, I had seen that you had actually sung with Garth Brooks, so that's what motivated me to do that. Justin, take it away. Let all 4 people know that are here who we have today as our guest.
He joins us from one of the great Flag 2 states of Tennessee, and he may just be the most interesting man in 401k. He plays guitar and sings at church. And thanks for ruining this, JD, but he even got to play with Garth Brooks.
Oh, sorry.
He has a LinkedIn algorithm mandated selfie down pat. He wrote a book, almost made it on Shark Tank, founded 7 different companies, one of which was a peanut butter company, lives in Eads, Tennessee with his wife, Kara, and their 2 kids, Walker and Texas Ranger. He founded Ellis Retirement Services, Mr. Grant Ellis.
Hey, everybody.
It's peanut butter jelly time.
Where you at? There you go.
Let's get right to it, Brandon. You know what we do. Headlines. I tried to go out and see if there's any new and exciting headlines today, and I realized that the American Retirement Association and 401k Specialists and Plan Sponsor Magazine, I think they're all taking the day off for the holiday. Yeah, so didn't get any new ones. But I have to say, I got a couple of Jerry Maguire moments tonight I'd like to talk about. And the first one is Todd Kading again. Todd Kading from Leaf House has an article out at the National Association of Plan Advisors titled Top Priorities for Advisor Record Keeping Partners for 2025 and Beyond. Just saying, a little bit of promotion of his Leaf House National Conference, but what I did hear from people that attended that was that there was a lot of collaboration happening. He did very, what I think, intelligently and strategically invite some of his like competitors in a way that came and showed up there. And so they had some honest conversations. And this manifesto that he has here is basically talking about the fact that if advisors would pool together and compete less and come to these record keepers or large vendors with consolidated ideas or ideas that they all agree upon, that maybe more evolution could happen in our industry or better evolution than each of them trying to be a solo voice trying to express what they want or need from these record keepers. Grant, I'm not an advisor. Devin's not an advisor. Justin, you are. What do you think about this piece? Are you familiar with Todd Kading, first of all?
Yeah, smart dude.
Smart dude.
I mean, listen, it sounds great in theory to me, right? But in practicality, a lot of these things, it's like, first of all, how do you even do that? Like, hey, all my buddies, let's get together.
Yeah. Let's move on. This is a stupid idea. Let's go.
No, it's not.
I'm kidding.
The other, but it's from like when people are trying to pay their bills and grow their businesses, it's a very challenging thing to do to make kind of industry wide advancements in these things with record keepers. And there are people trying to do this. I mean, this week, what the Retirement Advisor Council met, and there are groups like this that,
Sure.
Jania Stout and Renee Scherzer and people like that, they're getting together and meeting with record keepers, and they're trying to do this. But I think just the majority of advisors are more worried about, where their next plan is going to come from and whether or not they're going to grow any this year or have to lower their fees or whatever. So it's difficult unless you have large scale. Yeah. Super kind of ethereal, high level from a day-to-day
perspective.
Maybe
Todd,
not something.
You referred to Jania, past guest on this show, who's now with Scott over at his firm. She was previously at One Digital. Renee, I believe, still over at One Digital, if I'm getting that right.
Yep.
So maybe we are talking about, or maybe Todd is talking about, hey, these bigger national aggregators coming together to have a bigger voice, but that's not really what he said in the article. But so we'll move on. I'm not a huge fan of the headlines today. In all honesty, we'll see where they take us. I'm more excited about later in the show. So let's go to the next one. If there's something decent in AI, oh shit, I'm drinking. No one's run the buttons. Huh?
Oh, Brandon, can I run the buttons?
If there's something decent in artificial intelligence, I want to talk about it. Grant, you're the guest. I want to make you talk more than normal today. Usually I step all over our guests, but artificial intelligence. So the article, 401k Specialist Magazine, written by Amanda. Americans back artificial intelligent technology. There was a study. There's so many studies these days. And they went out and asked people how they felt about artificial intelligence, specifically with financial advice. This is where I want to go with you, Grant, because I don't think we've really had this conversation on this show yet. But we're all enamored, not all, most of us are enamored with artificial intelligence and where it might take us in this world, inside our industry and outside of our industry. I think a lot of people, Brandon's got ideas. I think a lot of people, when it first came out, did jump to this kind of concept of like, well, wait a second. Is my Merrill Lynch guy on Wall Street choosing what stocks I should invest in? And shouldn't a really smart supercomputer, artificial intelligence based thing be able to do that on a far higher level? So let me ask you specifically about investment choice, like selecting investments. Where do you see artificial intelligence playing a role or replacing advisors for that specific task?
I think I look at it twofold. One, it's obviously coming fast. And I think as they continue to advance the technology, it's naturally going to be a huge piece of what we do from an investment perspective. I mean, if you think about right now on the individual side, when you're looking at models and SMAs and strategy consultations and things like that, it's a bigger version of that. We run our portfolios through AI to have it check it, just to see what it says. We want to know kind of how it looks, what kind of responses it has to the technology. From the investor perspective, though, of like people putting in like, hey, I'm 54 years old and I want to do this, it can go a long way if you're looking for kind of basic passive portfolio management. But what I find in our clients is it's just, there's not a lack of information. It's what do you do with that information? So they're very wary of the output right now.
I like that. I guess I was even going deeper in that. For us to recommend investments, I'll talk within our industry right now, but also just in general in Wall Street, or even for a mutual fund to decide like what stocks it wants to pick and how it kind of wants to diversify among those stocks and the research that it needs to do to make those decisions. It seems to me that artificial intelligence would be in a far superior position to look at all of those things at once and other things to make, just better decisions about what stocks may do well in certain areas, which is, that's the thing we're all looking for. Now, Grant, putting aside, I'm an asset allocation guy, a diversification guy. I'm not like hounding on how do you find the next hot stock, but I'm just thinking a lot of research and analysis goes into this stuff. When I look at our own industry and I think of, ring me up for this if it is, I forget, FI360, Retirement Plan Advisory Group, the stuff that Morningstar does. And obviously this is a lot of methodologies and kind of ranking systems, but it makes me just think like, God, could that whole space just completely get upended? And you would go to these AIs that are customized and specifically trained in this space. Oh, yeah, sorry. And yeah, I just feel like that's our industry. A lot of big things could change. And again, I don't think that puts people out of jobs. I'm just saying it could change.
I think you're spot on. I mean, right now, when we are talking to kind of younger advisors getting into the plan space, if you're hanging your hat on your ability to select investments for a 401k plan, you're going to lose. It's just the nature of it. Like, it's probably 5% of what we talk about with our clients. There's enough of everything else and the software does that job primarily right now. So it's kind of remarkable the number of advisors that are still saying, like, our value is to pick your investments. Yeah. It's not.
I agree with you 100%, but I also understand the scheme or the strategy of telling a prospect what they want to hear, because I think you feel that way because of your experience. But Justin, tell me I'm wrong. If you pulled 10 people on the sidewalk and said, what do you want from your 401k? And one of the options was kick-ass returns on your investment, I think that would be high on their list. No?
Well, it has to be, right? That's why you're saving. You're trying to get your money to work for you, and you want all that stuff, without a doubt. So, I mean, that's a tough one, right? I agree with Grant that, yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be the focal point of advisors anymore these days. But
of course not.
You know, I mean, this isn't artificial intelligence by any means, but I work with a lot of advisors who are utilizing 338s, and I'm saying that in the sense that clients are taking that because, hey, it's doing it for me. I'm not having to think about it. My funds are getting replaced, accordingly and whatnot. So, it shouldn't be as scary, to a lot of people as.
Don't you guys see it being a coverage gap help though as well? Like AI, artificial intelligence can help advisors, or even the tools and services that we use help give that advice without having to phone a phone call, or without having to. They can use models that say, hey, I'm Devin Wendell, I'm 32 years old, I got 2 kids, like, where should this is my lineup, this is my this. The America's backing a artificial intelligence tells me that there is what we're worried about the most of. I have 15 plans. How do I service them? It's like, well, we can start using this kind of technology to help service those plans.
I was about to rip on you as like, that's a bit of a leap right now from what we're talking about, but I think you kind of connected it well there in terms of like artificial intelligence check swing, helping participants kind of evaluate their own risk tolerance, and then to your coverage gap kind of thing, meaning like we could get to thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people with really kind of custom, efficient Q&A back and forth. Mm-hmm. And so, but again, I wanted to keep it simple today of like, just like financial analytics, like picking the actual underlying investments in the funds and stuff like that. And so Justin, your example of a 338 obviously makes a lot of sense. And then Grant, you did the same thing. Like, that's not the value today of an advisor in the retirement plan space. And then I'll ask you this as we kind of go to the next subject. It's probably not even the value of one in the like wealth management space either, right? Like,
you wouldn't want it to be anymore. You wouldn't think it would be, right, with the technology we have, but it is. I mean, what Justin's saying is correct, of like, that's still a huge piece of the world right now, is like, oh, we get to pick all your investments and, optimize your asset allocation and your diversity. And people don't know the difference, and they're getting sold a model, which is fine. We use models too, but it's still unbelievable how much is sold based on picking your investments.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on artificial intelligence in that space, because I think it's going to change lots of things. And that's one that I think is kind of a target for it. I know lots of people.
Yeah. Y'all need to build something. Like, if I was smart enough or had the capital and the people, like, I'd be building something, some kind of AI, something to go into the space.
I could go deeper on this. We're doing something in that space, but it's a little different. But yeah, hey, Brand, thanks. Tune in next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, and I'll talk to you about advisor intelligence, which I'm going to kind of walk you through how you can use it to kind of analyze funds and stuff. Don't tell your compliance department that you came to it. Let's get into important headlines, kind of the most important headline, I would say, of the week, the month, the year. Fred Reish has really pivoted his Instagram account. I feel like there was some shots of the local neighborhood, some things happening that I was obviously paying very close attention to. Grant has no idea what we're talking about.
No, I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
The bit is that I'm obsessed with Fred Reish. I sift through his garbage.
Have you found out where his house is yet, just by looking at the photos?
Yeah, we've triangulated it based on his past
Geolocated
Instagram
it.
posts.
The flowers.
But that's what I want to show you, Brandon. Did you get? Oh, did I even tell you about the emails I sent you, Brandon? I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. So he's definitely pivoted to this. Let me show you, like, lots of beautiful flowers. And once again, look at that handsome man up there.
So he is retired.
No, he's not retired.
No, you're
He's
thinking
not
of Nevin,
retired.
buddy.
Nevin? Okay, my bad.
Shots of flowers, bro. Shots of flowers.
I was gonna say I was mixing it up, but I was gonna say, like, finally, even though Nevin says that he's retired, he's on all these other things, and I was miscommunicating on who's who. But yeah, it's like, okay, finally you're done.
I just want you to know that he is not just the most impressive ERISA attorney ever in the history of the world, but he's also an artiste and a photographer. And
Oops, sorry,
we love you, Fred Reish. Let's spin the wheel of ice. I've got an ice. I'll drink for whatever. Like, let's just spin it. Right?
The wheel of ice. The wheel of ice.
Note to self. Oh, nice. Note to self, next Juneteenth, we will not be having a show. I guess it's not falling on this day. Okay, before I pound my Smirnoff Ice, what I'd like to do is set up our next segment here. I would like to do a potpourri of Grant's LinkedIn posts, okay? As I mentioned in the pre-show, Grant does a very good job on LinkedIn in a variety of ways. I have cherry-picked several of his posts just to kick off a conversation. The first one, I'm clicking here on my iPad. I don't think Brand's going to be able to pull them up. Maybe he can. But this was a little while ago, not too long ago. And it's a nice picture of you standing in front of a creek. I noticed most of your posts have a very well thought through selfie of yourself somewhere in the corner.
Strong selfie game.
And then you said, planning for retirement involves far more than dollars and cents. Grant goes on to share his wisdom with, I work with some extremely happy retirees who don't have a ton of money, but live close to family and a creek like this, so life is good. Sometimes less is more, sometimes more is more. The point is you get to decide a plan that matters for you. It goes on a little bit more, not too much more. And it actually resonated with me, Grant, in that I used to do enrollment meetings back in the day, standing in front of 50 participants, and I thought it was really interesting because the vendor that I remember one particular vendor where the enrollment book that we would hand out, and Justin Devin, back in the day when we hung out with people face to face, we would give them all these little books that they can enroll with. And
I've done my fair share of them back in the day, pal.
On the cover of the book,
gotta earn your bones, man. You gotta pass the books out.
On the cover of the book were images of golf, fine dining, sailing, beaches.
Lots of beaches.
Yeah, fancy trips.
Lots of beaches. Still are. All those books still have all of those pictures on
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
And
I make fun of them every time.
And I would always say to that audience, I would make fun of those images. And I would say, hey, look, if your dream of retirement involves some of these images, like, good for you. That's great. Like, whatever your dream is, make it happen. But I would always paint this other image of, like, and we're from California, so I'd typically be in, like, some San Francisco office, and I'd say, imagine you move away from California. You go to the Midwest, Missouri or something, you buy a very affordable house by California standards, and you're sitting on its rickety deck with your wife or significant other and rocking in your rocking chairs and having dry mix lemonade from the piece of shit kitchen you just walked out of. And you're watching your dog run in the grass on your property. I used to say to them, like, that sounds like pretty good retirement to me. Like I would enjoy that. Maybe my wife and I are going to read a book later that afternoon and take a walk down to this little creek that Grant's standing in front of and, spend some time together. So I think that resonated with people back then, because my final point was that can be very affordable. So there's a very affordable retirement. The golf and the yachts and all that's very expensive. Maybe yours is somewhere in between, but let's figure out what that price is and let's start planning towards it. I'm imagining, Grant, this is a message you tell lots of your clients.
Yeah, it all stems from when we started adding in working with individuals. So I've been a plan guy forever. And then 5 or 8 years ago, we added in individuals. So I started working with people who were entering retirement. And it gave me that perspective of like, it's terrifying for most people. Whether you have a lot of money or not, it's just a very scary thing to go, okay, now whatever I have, I've got to live on this for the rest of my life. So it just kind of stems from, there's a lot of fear around. I mean, I have people with millions of dollars who are terrified and people who are broke who are terrified, right? Because there's just a lack of information of what that looks like. So it's just attempting to go like, hey, if we plan early and we start working, we can figure this stuff out. And there are different versions of, I've got, little country town retirees who live on Social Security and are living the dream.
Right.
And then I've got rich retirees who are miserable because they haven't set it up well. So it's just kind of trying to connect with that person.
Everyone's favorite rapper, Puff Daddy, I think once said, more money, more problems.
That's right. He did say that.
I don't want to get away from the fact that you're supposed to be pounding ice here, JD.
Oh shit. Sorry.
Oh, that's
okay.
right.
Well, I pound this ice. Devin, why don't you tell us all what your dream retirement looks like?
That's a good one. I would say there has to be a lot of golf and hopefully somewhere outside of California. I'm the typical, I like the beach, but definitely don't want to pay California taxes. And so hopefully my wife can move. If the kids move, hopefully the kids move out. We can move out of California, be by the beach and play some golf. That's my, and mountain bike.
And I'm assuming that you mean, because you work for me, that you're talking like what, age 75, 77, 8? I mean, you're gonna be working for me for a long time.
Yeah.
It's got the hooks.
Yeah, I'm handcuffed here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
funny how that lifestyle sneaks up on you, dude. I was flying back last night from Chad's. We're out there on the farm, and you can see forever. And I'm flying back, looking at all the city lights and suburban. I'm like, oh my god, there's just too many people here, man. This looks miserable at this point. You get on the roads, I have road rage. It just comes back on it every time I come back from there. Road rage, like, God, so many people. So
California, jeez. Okay, we won't get into that. We won't get that. Our Tennessee boy here, he probably looks down on us like, oh, those poor guys living out in California.
No, we go visit you all for vacation. I was in California in March, man. I love it.
Yeah, you do. And then I can't get into the restaurant I want to fucking eat at because all you tourists are lined up outside.
That's right. My only employee lives in California.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. And this one's a little nerdier, a little more detailed, a little more kind of industry driven here. This was a post about 2 weeks ago where you had ran across a $4 million plan. And you were conducting a review. And we've heard these types of stories before. You were, I think, taken aback, fair to say, but the all-in costs were just south of 2%. You said 1.98 on this post. What I liked what you did is you actually broke it down for the readers. So this is what I mean by the kind of nerdier, more technical side of things, everybody. Pay attention. Grant said the average fund expense was about 85 basis points, which to me, is that a pretty like reasonable assessment of like a R3 or a share class type of thing there? Is that your best guess?
It was a group annuity, so it was like shadow shares.
Shadow shares, but that to me looks like an R3 kind of share, shadow share, which sure. By the way, I think 85 would even be pretty fair. Like it might be closer to 1%, depending upon, it's all variable, like how you look at it, right?
Yep.
And then you went on for the record keeping fee of 66 basis points. By the way, my son's training at our company right now, and he's doing a lot of proposals for these guys as an internal support. And he's like, what the fuck is this? 85, 66. Like, he's like, that's not true. Like, that's bullshit. And I said to him, no. These exist. They're definitely out there. And I wouldn't even call this a huge outlier. I feel like this is fairly common.
Very common.
Out there. Yeah. Okay. So
Surprisingly
66,
common. Yeah.
66 for the wrap, 5 to a 338. The advisor's taken 37 basis points. This hit me as is this Hancock? I think this is I think
Like the
this is
the 137. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
37 is an odd number. And I remember, excuse me, not Hancock. My bad. My apologies, Wayne Park. Manulife, John Hancock Retirement. God, that slides off the tongue. That just slides off the tongue. Such a good marketing move. I remember them having this 37. Oh, it does say you had something was paid up in the year one front. Okay, so 37. Sorry, I digress. And then revenue sharing, we're going to throw 10 bips back. That's cool. TPA is getting 5 basis points. That's pretty standard. By the way, that TPA might have got oh, it did it twice.
Nope, sorry.
They may have gotten a small upfront payment as well at the time. And then apparently it wasn't enough for this one. They needed to throw an extra 10 bips on it. And you add up all those numbers, you get to 1.98. What the fuck was my question for Grant? Who knows? What do you think? Well, let's talk about this. So you said that this advisor wasn't even really aware. Like, so you're trying to find these fees, and what the incumbent advisor and client couldn't really help you. They were lost. Like, you made some comment about even them not knowing what their fees were.
Yeah, it's the point of the post is to point out a few different things. One, it's simply to point out the complexity of 401k fees. This kind of stuff, I always assume when I go to a plan, they're going to have like a good advisor in place and they're going to understand what's going on, and they very rarely do. So first of all, it's just kind of showing this is a lot more complex than if you're a wealth manager and you don't do this, then you probably aren't looking for these things. We see it all the time. And then it's just kind of to show the different levels of variance based on the value you're getting. So this advisor, I don't even know if I mentioned the advisor, did I? I don't even know who it was.
Well, you said there was one, but no, you didn't.
Because because they came to me basically saying, "Hey, our advisor, we see them once a year. They don't do anything. What's going on?" And I was like, "Well, let's just dig into it." And they had no idea of their fee structure. They'd never benchmarked it. Like, everything was set from when they started with the record keeper. So it was more of just like, there's a lot of low hanging fruit with keeping plans healthy. It's not being done. And it's extremely common that we run into it. So it just surprises me every time. Every time I'm like, oh, it's probably pretty good. I'm like, this is trash. It's never been benchmarked. It's never been reviewed. It's never been repriced. Most of the time, they don't even know all the pieces to the puzzle.
I feel a bit guilty because Devin and Justin and my other people on my sales team, Grant, we need to apologize to you right now. Like, we are part of this problem. We support a lot of these, what did you call this advisor? A wealth advisor swimming around in the 401k world. That's that thing to do. Like
no offense, right? I mean,
but I'm just telling you, like, we go out and we try to find these people sometimes and try to prop them up and support them. And if this guy would have sold a plan with us, and I don't know about the 37 bips, how big the plan was at the time, but I would have said to this guy, okay, look, we're here to help you. Your vendor's here to help you with different questions, but you're going to be making 37 basis points. So you have a job to do. Mm-hmm. And because you're getting paid revenue. And so even if you're a novice, lean on your support system, lean on us, and make a commitment to yourself to meet with this client, put together some reviews, analyze how things are going. Like, I think what you do is phenomenal, and I'm obviously a huge advocate. Everyone who tunes into the show live tends to be pros at this stuff. But I also think, and I'd love to hear your opinion, that someone who passed their Series 6 understands investments, is a good person, mm-hmm. and wants to build their 401k business, and because they don't have any, they're a wealth manager. I mean, it's not rocket science. They're not going to be as good as you, but if they actually just apply themselves, I think they can get it done. Do you agree with me, or think?
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
To me, it's painting big, broad brushes, right? Of like, I have no problem. I couldn't care less whether somebody's a wealth advisor or not. I actually am with you. I want them to do well. The bar is so low, though, and for somebody to be like, we can't get them to return our calls. Like, and
this guy's taking in $15K a year at this point.
And so I'm with you. I'm like, you don't have to be an expert. You call JD and his team, and call your wholesaler, right, and go, I don't know what I'm doing. Just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And then show up and call them every once in a while. So it's more of the frustration. It feels lazy to me of like, you're not even making an effort here. Like it, if you want to take it another level, find some DCIO wholesaler who will give you access to FI 360 and run a report. So it's more of like, man, do something. Like I don't understand
the reality of that, though, especially when it comes to wealth advisors, at least in my experience, and Devin, I'm sure you can, would say the same, is they don't make a lot of money on these things, compared to
obviously that's not the case, right? That's not the case right here.
Not the case here by any means, but I mean, that's their mindset. Like, dude, I don't make anything on. I make 37 bips on this versus, the 1% that I get on the wealth side where I got $1 million, whatever with this client. And they take these plans on largely because they don't want to lose the wealth client.
Or because they're trying to mine it for new wealth clients as well.
I mean, that's the smart way to do it, but don't be lazy about it. Like you're saying, that's always a struggle. And JD, you said unfortunately, we're part of the problem. I don't really view this as part of the problem. I mean,
I'm joking.
Do, right?
I'm joking when I say that, but I mean, I would hope that we, like to Grant's point, provide. We're not here to talk about us, so
I think it's a valid point though. Like you all are there to support advisors who need help. I think just having a little bit of humility and going like, I don't know everything. Like we're still doing that. Like we can't know everything. So the ability to go, hey, who does know more than me? Right. And to ask them to help you understand maybe a basic framework for what you should be doing. And the first answer is like, maybe call them once a quarter and see how they're doing.
Do you wonder in the real world if this advisor laid his or her head on their pillow like a year ago and had that thought run through their head of like, I'm making 15K on this thing. Like, am I doing something wrong? Like, I feel guilty. Like, what's going on? Or to Grant's point, they should have woke up that next morning, made a call to their third-party administrator or their record keeper and said, hey, can you look at the fees on this thing? And, I know we sold this 3 years ago. Like, I just want to make sure that they're prudent, they're appropriate. Maybe check them out. Like, it's not that hard to do. So I'm with you. I have very little.
I would win a lot of plans though too, dude. I mean, this, especially in this like sub $5 million market. We kind of take advantage of those who have done that for so long. It's a great low hanging fruit for us.
For anyone that's listening in, Grant, what do you? How many do you remember? Can we guess 30 participants here? I have no idea. Like 4 million. How many heads? Yeah. Let's assume it's like 30 or whatever. Like, what should this thing be priced at? A $4 million plan. What's not should be. Here's another fun. I digress. Here we go. You ready for this? How funny is it, Grant, that the way this industry works, and it worked this way in the past, is advisor finds $2 million plan. Advisor reaches out to record keeper because record keeper bought them a cup of coffee a week ago, whatever. And this is not the pro, right? Not the 401k pro. And says, hey, record keeper, I found this $2 million plan. It's $2 million plan. It's got 100K of flow, whatever it is. And then advisor goes, what should my comp be? and record keeper says, 1 in 37 or whatever the fuck. I'm just making a number. But nowhere in that conversation yet have they asked each other like, how many fiduciary review meetings are you going to do? Are there 3 locations or 1 location? Do you plan to meet with the participants like one-on-one? How often? As an industry, we just spit out a number to them. Like, and that's what made me think. I was about to ask you what a $4 million should be priced like. And it's like, there's some variables there, is there not? Like, we can't just spit a number at it. But we've been doing that for 20 fucking years where we just say, oh, $4 million plan, 20 bips, 25 bips, right? Like somewhere in that, let's go 15 to 25. It's like, I think we need to know a few things first before we apply that number.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think the reason we go there so quickly now is because it's so easy to keep it in range. Like there's a range of what that should be. And that's the first thing. You can make a phone call. I could call that record keeper and be like, no, man, we're not doing this. Like cut it all out. And they would overnight because they know they're going to keep the plan for a decade. So yeah, I agree with you. It's just one of those, it's interesting to see because it's a red flag of, if the pricing's that out of alignment, then that means most likely everything else is too. So it's
but if you knew priced a $4 million plan right now, with 30 parts, what do we think? Devin, Justin, chime in. Grant, what's the comp?
Probably in the 30 to 40 range.
Yeah, 35, 40.
Okay,
I
35,
just
40.
think that it depends. I think that it depends. I think the race to the bottom is the most annoying conversation that I have with advisors, because if you have a good advisor that can actually do good and help people that aren't saving and get them to save, then is it worth that cost? I mean, yes, there's a range in 30 to 40 basis points, but if you charge 50 basis points and you're having quarterly meetings or weekly phone calls, or you're
Of
trying to really
course.
lean into the employees and get them to save, then you're worth it. That's what I have a problem with.
Of course. I love the
tough time.
higher end scale. But what do you think Voya says when you call their internal and you have a $4 million plan and you're not a very experienced advisor? What's your comp? Grant, do you think
25?
Yeah, or less?
Yeah,
I think
they're going to try
I
to
think
price it low.
I mean, God,
Yeah.
we've seen guys take 25 bips on startups.
Yeah.
they're
It's
gonna
like, what
they're
are
gonna
they-
push you down because they want to win the plan and they care a little less about what
For
your
sure.
comp.
Well,
But-
and they know that if they do get the plan, they're probably going to keep it for a decade.
yeah,
Like
right.
there's an annuitization factor too, of like you get the plan, you mine the plan for assets, and you keep it for a decade with doing very minimal work. It's
Well,
kind of
let's
a
talk
blessing.
about the record keeper fee. So, $4 million plan. What's a typical record keeper wrap fee? Like 35 or something? Or
I could probably get it down to 20 to 25, which
20
is
to 25.
which is wild to me. I tell them all the time I don't know how they're making any money. Because the record
Well, a
keeper
lot of
fees
them
are
don't.
so low.
The reality on this one too is, I mean, no one's knocked on this door yet. So as we see all the time with record keepers, like, hey, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to keep making this money until it's a problem.
For sure.
But
They're not going to
again-
come proactively to you and say,
No,
we would
not
like
at
you to
all.
pay us less.
Again, I want to write a new proposal right now. I want to compare the 1.98 to what we think we would write it in a prudent world right now. And
I mean, Grant's thing says 1%. I think between 1 and 1.25.
Yeah.
right. I was
And
going to go.
And the software does that. I mean, it's not like we're doing that from our knowledge base. We're benchmarking it with software, each piece. And like our fee, talk about the race to the bottom. And you can't do this all the time, but we try to be high. We tell people that. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years. If you want the cheapest, I'll send you down the street to Jimmy, who just got his 6, and like have fun. But if you want to do it right, we run in the 75 percentile range on our fee structure every single time. So we show them where it's at. And all the other pieces, we just want them to land somewhere in range. So we're not trying to drive it. You kind of use the example of like the DOL doesn't say be the cheapest. They say know what you have and the value you're getting and how you got there. And so that's, there's wiggle room there, but there's just
Grant,
a limit.
It's not funny. It's good to hear you say that, because we hear lots of people say that, because we tend to walk in the circles of the people that know what they're doing here a lot.
Yeah.
But then my sales team also works with these people who don't a lot of times. And so for you to have the confidence to say your fees are higher takes experience. It takes a service model, which we're going to talk about in a little bit based on your most recent podcast, which I thought was phenomenal. We'll get to that. But for a lot of people out there, and I'm sure you know this, Justin, Devin, Chad, and Mark live in this world of race to the bottom.
Sure.
Spreadsheeting each other, everyone trying to get the fees down, record keepers coming back to us as a third-party administrator in our 50th fucking year of business, trying to tell me to like sharpen my pencil. I'm gonna shove my pencil up your fucking ass. This is constantly happening.
Yeah.
And so most of the industry struggles with matching their value with their price, but that's for another day.
No, listen, I love that topic because I am a former TPA. So, I mean, I know your world well.
Is Grant drinking with us? Does he have something to
No,
drink?
I was just about
No,
to
I don't
Hotel
think
beer.
he doesn't.
say, hey.
Yeah.
Hotel beer right here.
We'll swig it. You've got like 4 or 5 penalties. You got to.
Why? I don't even know the rules. So how about I get a penalty for rules I don't
That's
know?
how this game works, Grant.
You
You
just
don't.
have arbitrary penalties?
The show's
When
been
you're-
going on for 45 minutes and hasn't prompted you to be like, hey, what does that mean?
When your
It
little
has, but I
face.
didn't want to stop the flow and be like, new guy doesn't know what you're doing.
Well, if we had a normal
I can
audience, they'd
appreciate
be
that.
tearing you apart right now. Like
Boy, will you tell me what I'm
I mean, a
doing
couple
wrong
of the
now
guys
so I
have.
can adjust it, please?
you have to learn. You got to learn the game as you
All
go.
right.
bro.
All right.
No acronyms or initialisms. You cannot say. You say artificial intelligence, not the 2 letters.
Okay.
You,
Gotcha.
You know, got
This
it.
is supposed to be educational.
Gotcha. I'll try.
No,
Practice
I
the
mean
other
the
rooftops.
fee thing is very interesting, and I actually kind of want to save that for your podcast, which I want to talk about here pretty quickly. I want to get to one more of your LinkedIn posts, which I thought was really good. You were sitting in a small office. It had a little wood kind of panel and this archaic 1980s phone,
The
on a
phone.
little wood table in the corner. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I took over my father's company. I'm a Nepo baby. He started at 1975. And we had many of office rooms that looked like that with matching carpet and the whole nine. But you made a very strong statement to me, which was, and I think for this one, I'm just going to read it like, this is a friendly reminder that millions of companies, millions, that might be maybe, but a lot, are highly profitable and printing money and are the opposite of high tech, high speed. They don't have fancy offices with coffee bars, ping pong tables, and their websites, I love this one, and their websites look like they were created 20 years ago. That's a fact. Their owners aren't on LinkedIn. They don't do daily team huddles. Their computers don't have cameras because they're on the floor. And their only Slack, that's a software, that they've ever heard of refers to their fishing line. So what about those fancy 401k websites and financial wellness apps? You know, this big tech push that we're making in our industry. They might as well be digital paperweights, says Grant. Toss them in file 13. What works for these companies like this? Sitting around the table, face to face with the employees, having conversations, answering questions, solving problems. Don't become so reliant on technology that you forget how to sit with people and solve their problems. The people thing is great. I love that. What I thought was more impactful for me reading it was, I think we forget how many like non-sexy owners of businesses are making good money and fly well below your radar of like what we envision a modern day prospect. They run a warehouse. They're making little widgets, you know, out of who knows what. Even me, I'm a company in California, 35 employees. I would fall into that category. I saw a YouTube video that called these people the stealthy wealthy, meaning like these people are making 7 figures a year. You just don't know them. They're not out in public. They're not on LinkedIn. They're not doing whatever. And I think what you're saying here, Grant, and I'll let you speak, is we're focusing so much on like a solution for high tech. We forget that these people don't give a shit about that. And maybe we should pay more attention that this is still a thing. You can still pretend it's 1985, right? And go sell.
Yeah, I mean, it's the combination of our industry is really good at telling everybody what they need, right? And it's like, you need this financial wellness and apps and all these things, and they're all great. Tools all have a place, but just, you know, every little town, which is most towns outside of all the big cities, the companies don't run like that. And it's going into a company like that and saying like, let's get on a Zoom meeting. They're like, what are you talking about? We don't do that here, right? If you want to meet with us in person, there's a factory behind there. And so when I look at it, it's like, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to solve? And if we're trying to help people prepare for retirement, as cliche as it sounds, then you can't just shove tech down their throats. You've got to be able to go and do the hard work, which we talk about all the time. That's why I post pictures of like, man, we drove down this dirt road and went into this hot warehouse to go talk to the people. And I think a little bit of it is kind of the, you know, financial porn, if you will, on LinkedIn of like the way everything looks and like wanting to look cool and high tech and high speed. And the reality of it, it's really hard, dirty work sometimes, but it's the way that you impact those companies is by going in and sitting with them. Most of them don't, other than the owners, don't have money, and being able to just have conversations with people. So is tech necessary? Absolutely. Is it the end all be all? No chance.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you is, let's assume you and I had mutual clients and their office looked like that. And be honest with me, would you be upset with me if I told you, because I have tons of clients like that,
Sure,
where I had them, if I forced those clients to do modern day things, i.e., there was a point when I took over my dad's business where I had to say to all our clients, hey, you will now submit your census in this format electronically through this secure file upload. 100% of you, no exceptions, no outliers. And I caught a lot of shit for that.
Yeah.
I currently, this is going to sound crazy, you ready for me, the tyrant? I don't accept paper checks anymore. I have a modern day technology system that allows you to pay us your monthly fee or your quarterly fee or your annual fee. I don't want you fucking mailing checks in the mail to my office that then human beings have to open, look at, apply them to your account balance. There's technology that solves that. Some of my older clients might say, I don't want to do that, JD. I want to write a check. That's how we roll with our little 1980s phone in the corner. So what would you say to me as your third-party administration partner? Would you be like, JD, come on, man, help out my old people?
No.
Are you good? Okay, go.
No, absolutely not. Because to me, there's a little bit of a distinction there. It's like how you run your business operations is completely up to you. Same thing on the advisor side. If you want to be the person or whoever that's going, we are tech only, this is all we do, that's fine. It's just, to me, it's when a client, the way we get clients most often is we just need somebody to help our people. And if I'm signing up to help your people, I could make that call of saying we only do tech, but you can do whatever you want.
More, you're on the advisor side and you're just saying, hey, just because Voya's got some new widget, that's not going to win me business. What's going to win me business is getting there and face-to-face and doing shit, which I
and even more so than that, what's going to actually have an impact on those people? That's because, listen, you see enough people retire with no money and it's depressing and they're not looking at apps. Like, have you been on the websites recently? They're all, I mean, it's just noise in their heads. To be able to sit down for 10 minutes and be like, hey, if you do this, you're going to have this when you retire and you're going to be able to pay yourself this. And they're like, nobody's ever told me that.
Can I ask you, when I was younger and more of an asshole, I still have a lot of asshole in me, but an advisor used to tell me that they're all about face-to-face. I would tend to ask them, okay, like how many clients do you have? Mm-hmm. And what's the head count of those clients? And then I would try to do the math of like, what does that look like for your year? And you're nodding your head in agreement, like, can you actually pull that off as one human being? Like, and a lot of times I'd challenge them, they could not. That you can't, you're one man, one woman. You can't run around and meet with all these people, Grant, face to face.
No, it's a great point. I think you have to have your service model nailed down. So there's a client we can't take on with our model. Like, cause somebody goes, hey, we want to meet with every employee face to face once a month, so we have a very, very stringent model that builds in certain aspects and we price it out. So going back to what Devin said about like our price variation, this is all coming into account based on what the client's looking for. And there are times when we say we can't do that. Like we're not able to, but we're using the basic framework of the model to go, this is what we can do for this price. If you want more, this is the price. And then there are limits where we just can't do it. So you're exactly right. You've got to be profitable. You've got to be able to scale. You've got to be able to grow your business and do all of that. So there's a limit.
I don't have time to go through them all, but you actually made a post kind of relevant to that where you talked about like under 500 employees, 500 plus, and how you say your business model. I'd actually like to go to the podcast for a second. I did not clip an audio like I'd wanted to, but I did listen to your most recent podcast. And the takeaway that I want to bring up to kind of start this conversation for Justin and Devin and yourself and everyone listening in is you said like a lot of advisors come to you for like advice, like, hey, how do I like get good at this 401k? Actually, no. How do I sell this 401k stuff? How do I build my business? And you said something that I thought was actually really, really cool. And I'm a firm believer in this. And I think this could be a great conversation. They come to you wanting to know, like, what are the tricks to sell? Like, how do you prospect? How do you market? How do you sell and close plans? Where should I be looking? What do I do? And then you had one question for them in the beginning before trying to help them, which you're very courteous in doing, is like, okay, tell me about your service model. Like how do you uniquely like service your clients? Like tell me your business model. And they're like, okay, I'll figure that out once I get my clients and build them up. And you had me to the point where I was in my car driving going like, no. Let's build that first. So you have something to talk about, something to be proud of. I would almost say, even if you haven't even done it yet, I would just love to see the blueprint. Like, I'm new to this shit, but here's what I'm going to do. I've done all my homework. I'm passionate about this industry. I know how this all works. And I'm going to treat my clients that have 30 employees or less like this. I'm going to do this many fiduciary review meetings. I'm going to come and do education. By the way, I have an expertise and a passion for target date funds. So I really want to like analyze your target date fund, whatever it is. What makes your business model valuable, exciting, worth, paying attention to? And I guess to your point, and I'll let you talk because it's your thoughts. I'm stealing from you. It seems to me that if you'd put that in place, now you actually have something to go sell, which is selling. Did I pick up on all that right? Because I love it.
It goes back to what you were all talking about before with the calling the record keeper and getting the price spit out. But
Right.
that, to me, it's an industry training problem, because that is
Cart before the horse. Cart before the horse.
What are we trained on when we get into this industry as advisors? How to sell.
Sell.
That's it. Sell from day one. And it's usually, like, well, you have 90 days, friends and family, go drive 100,000 GDCs or you're fired. And never, or almost rarely, do you talk about like, how do you take care of clients? And so it's just a conditioning of that's just how our industry is, unfortunately. And so when you flip that on its head and go, well, yeah, like you said, I think the word is valuable, and it doesn't have to be rocket science. Honestly, talking about artificial intelligence, you could type it in and be like, I want to be a mediocre 401k advisor. What should I do?
Mediocre.
For real. Like, you don't have to be the best.
No, that could be your pitch. Hey, I'm the mediocre guy.
And guess what? It's mediocre also. My pricing. It's mediocre.
Right. I might buy that.
we've this whole thing, a lot of the industry is just inverted, and it is about revenue first, figure it out how to deal with the client later. And for the hard part about it is I had the advantage of being able to play the long game early in my career. So I didn't have this like quota that I had to hit in 6 months. So I get it. If you've got that quota, you've got to hit that every single year.
But still, Grant, and Justin and Devin, I want you to listen to this. But still, if I've got a quota to hit, I need to develop a strategy. And what I want to do is I want to maximize my close ratio. Every time I get an opportunity to talk to a potential client, a plan sponsor, I want to make sure I've got my game ready to close that thing. And so my point is, it's not how you talk to them. It's not your swagger. It's not your confidence. It's what is your product? What are you offering to them? Get really good at building that. I think if you're exceptional, you'd make it like creative. You'd make it a little unique. You'd make it true to yourself, whatever. But that's going to put you in a far better position to close that meeting than running around trying to get meetings without an actual service. It seems simple, but Justin, tell me I'm wrong. Most people don't have that shit figured out. Or if they do, they spit out like the classic thing, like, oh, I'm going to review the funds and check the fees, and like, shut the fuck up.
The less experienced focus on that, but I combat your comment a little bit. I do agree. Having your service model figured out and kind of being able to communicate that is key, but I do think it's the swagger. I mean, we've always talked about that. It's being genuine, right? Having your brand. That
Grant
will set you apart.
Yeah, I got no swagger, man.
You're being modest. Right
I got genuine down pat.
Not
But like
genuine.
I tell people, you know what my sales pitch is? You want me to give you my sales pitch? I'm a terrible salesperson, so I'm not going to do this well, but this is what we do. Would you like to work with us?
You know what's so funny, Grant?
It's crazy. Crazy.
I start my meetings the same way. If because these guys sell now, and the joke on the show is, when's the last time JD sold a plan? But sometimes I'll have to get involved with a current client.
Yeah.
And it'll be kind of a sales moment, right? Like they're gonna change record keepers or something. And I'm being totally honest. When I'm on that Zoom or whatever, I'm like, look, I'm gonna fuck this up. Like I don't do this every day. If you would have saw me 20 years ago, I was smooth, I was confident, I had my shit together. Like, I'm gonna botch this shit because I'm just not a salesman right now. And to your point, Grant, I think
people don't.
I think you're being a little bit of a bullshitter right now, Grant. You know when you say that they love that because it puts them at ease. It puts them at ease. Like, okay,
I'll push back a little bit.
Go.
I've always struggled with self-confidence. So I actually say that. And I've just now gotten like, no, you are good at what you do. Like I've had to work on being like, no, I'm good. Like I'm good. And it's okay to tell people we do a good job for our clients and our clients love us. It's just not natural for me. And so it's self-deprecating, but not with a plan.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
It just comes from a core, right? But I was, I grew up in the swagger finance world, man. I was on the desk internal, like the whole thing. What tie do you wear? And all our training was around like how to type the email right. It was the words and the,
right.
and I'm just like, and every year.
How about the class? How about the presenters that would teach you to like, make sure you sit this way. Make sure your chest is out.
Like,
make sure you have eye contact.
Take a position of authority and raise your chair higher than them, and like
repeat their name. Repeat their name to them. Listen more than talk.
And I'm a processor and like an analytical guy. So I'm sitting there trying to create this sales equation in my head of like, okay, do that. And then say this, and then look in their eyeballs and then shake and it's horrible. So
can I please reiterate then?
It works
based on
every time.
Based on your post.
Yeah.
What it told me, and I'll elevate it one extra level here, is it told me that if you had prepared what your service model is, what the product you're actually selling, that's going to maybe not give you swagger, but it's definitely going to help, and it's going to give you confidence, and it's give you, something to focus on. I would add to that when I was sitting in parking lots in a suit and tie, no beard, my hair was short, and I had cufflinks on my little things, and I had to go in and present. What always gave me confidence as I stepped out of that car to walk into this strange business, and I want everyone to listen to this, Devin, Justin, and all the advisors you work with, I did my homework. Like, I put in the hard yards of where I was going, what their current plan was, what the cost structure was, what the investments were their target date funds good target date funds or not good target date funds, did they have a fixed account? Like, everything I could do, I poured my soul into it. And I would say to myself before I walked in, actually, JD, these people are lucky that you're coming in here because you're a good person, you care, and you've actually done your fucking research, and you're about to show them how things work, in this industry. There I am.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
you're done. I felt like not only did it help me, it made me do a better job in there, because I felt like, and I'm sure this is very cliche, but I wasn't there to sell. So cliche, I apologize. But it's true. I was there to like show these people what was in my fucking brain.
It's not cliche, man. Like you're talking about you sitting in the car, like talking to yourself. I do that to this day. And because it's freeing for me, because the sales culture, it just makes me feel gross and I get pressure. I literally tell myself, I'm here to see if I can help them, and then it's in their hands, and that's it. And so I go in, and it's like, blah, 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 let's talk all through it. I can't control whether or not they work with me. I can help them as much as I can for that day. And then guess what? It works. And people like to work with people.
But on a takeover, how do you feel about doing the hard yards of like knowing your shit before you go in?
I do an unbelievable amount of research.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just it's a very, like, I had to shift away. This is what almost maybe like the peanut butter company, all the things, was because I'm being told that only what you wear and only the way you type your emails and positions of all that crap is how you sell stuff. And then I had to learn from other people. No, there's a different way. Just like know everything, be better than everyone, work harder, and be a good human. Right. And people like that. And it's like, oh, well, magical. That's crazy. And it
Justin, Devin, don't you think that's the recipe for Chad's success?
No, it absolutely is. What I was going to say before I thought you were done talking was Chad and I, before I started work for PDC, I was doing sales in another company, and
ring up yourself.
We would always have we would always have calls on our way to meetings and stuff. And Chad, we kind of both got to this point at the same time, and his mindset was exactly kind of where you guys have gotten to in this conversation was, hey, look, I've done my work. I know this client, I know everything about them, and there's nobody better to be sitting in front of them right now than me. And it just gave him a whole, once he got to that point,
I mean, that's awfully like, there's a lot of self-confidence there.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. It gave him the confidence to go.
Maybe there might be a few people that are better, but you're saying, but I'm damn fucking good at this, you know?
Yeah, but the mindset is more than half the battle right there too. Right?
Yeah, and knowing that, like, being okay with it, you can do everything right and still lose.
Oh yeah,
that was hard for me early on. I was like, wait, I'm better than all these yahoos, and you can still lose.
Last thing I want to do is give like sales advice. Brandon always wants us to do this on this show. And by the way, to some of the comments there, or all those meetings I would go to, I would always be with an advisor. It's just back in the day, it was kind of this mode of like, okay, advisor, you're going to sit right over here. I'm going to do all this shit. I'm going to cue you a few times. You're going to talk about investments. You're going to talk about this and that. And we're going to close this together. And that advisor would look at me and be like, okay, we got this, bro. Let's go. Like they'd also be in the parking lot. But so when you say, why is JD as a third-party administrator talking about target date funds and guaranteed investment contracts? And it's because my advisor wasn't prepared to deal with that shit.
Your advisor didn't know what they were talking
Yeah,
about.
I had to cover for them.
Yeah, but on that point, how do you get a green, new, young advisor that is a wealth advisor to have that confidence? I think the thing that I struggle with the most is talking with the clientele that we do talk to and trying to get those advisors to be confident in what they know and what they're going to pitch and everything that they're going to say and the value that they bring, even though they've done two retirement plans.
You literally
right?
just... You literally just laid out Grant's podcast. So everyone go listen to it. It's the 401k playbook, and it's the most recent one. And you just said you just asked what he said, which is you want the confidence, put together your approach first.
Understood. But what if their approach isn't to win 40 retirement plans? Their approach is to win one with their uncle or whatever to help out their family or whatever. It's not, I need to land 10 plans and be this retirement guru. It's, I just need to know enough to win my
now you're being an idiot. Are you telling me we have advisors that they're coming to us going, I want you to help me sell this one plan and I'll never be back again?
Dude, it happens.
Yeah.
Wrong in that, right?
To that point, I don't have time to waste my brain on that shit. Like,
I will say, Devin, though, I think you bring up a good point. There's an element that nobody wants to hear, that confidence comes with reps and years, right? I mean, that's part of it too. It's like, you can't fake some of that stuff. So you gotta, to me, it's when I was talking to whoever's younger or whatever, it's just like, you gotta be you though. You can't act like you're the 35-year veteran when you're not. So just own what you have. And if you need to concede on pricing and be the hardest worker in the room, right? That can win.
Yes. You said before, like mediocre. I'm the mediocre guy with mediocre price, but
yeah, like I hadn't been doing this forever, but like I work my ass off for you.
That's my thing.
And I will do whatever, and I will learn, and I will go talk to JD and his team to figure out what I'm doing. And then you do that for 20 years and then you're confident.
But I would counter you a little bit, Grant, to say that, like, even if you don't have the swagger and you don't have the confidence, I mean, to your point of saying, like, I'm a shitty salesman to start your thing, and I'm sorry to keep repeating the thing that I'm so passionate about here. If you've done your homework, if you've studied for the test, even if you're tripping over your own feet and you're awkward and your brow's sweating and whatever, you can still show them that you've done your homework. And I think that can be very endearing to someone who's trying to make a decision. That sometimes people that are great at sales and have swagger and confidence, it's too much. Yeah. It's gross. Like, people don't like it. There's a lot of wholesalers for record keepers. We can name names later this year that I hang out with. I'm like, you're fucking gross.
You're like off a movie. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You're like a cartoon character, man.
You're too slick.
Tone it down.
You're too confident. Okay, fuck. We'll move on. I want to, you know what? Devin's got to get to a car thing.
No,
so
I'm
Devin,
good.
Are you sure?
Rachel's with her family. Yeah, Rachel's with her family.
Okay.
We rescheduled to next month.
Let's play a quick game, and then we'll head out. Because I know Grant's sitting in a fucking hotel all by himself, and
so I got nowhere to be. Yeah.
All right. Well, Grant, I'm an innovator. I'm an entrepreneur. I told my dad when I was 4 years old to start Plan Design Consultants, our third-party administration firm. He followed my advice. I have since partnered to start an AI company called Waze. Check it out at waze. Oh, what?
Brandon, who's doing this?
And I have a design company called 75 Studios. Y'all can check that out. But another thing I invented on my own with nobody else's help is the totally original Nope or Dope game. Totally original.
This is the only reason why I ever want to be on this show is because I want to get you boomers, your nope or dopes, just to have a conflict with you guys because some
Okay.
of them are so off.
I like it. I like that.
Impressive.
I like that.
You're
I
fitting
don't know
into
if
Mark's position quite well.
we we have a small problem with this game.
That's
I've been getting really drunk on this show in the past, and so I forget what Nope or Dopes I've done before. So
I've been drinking a lot of vodka in my free time, and
Your free time.
I love that one.
so I apologize if I've done this one before, but this one resonates with me. And Grant, in this game, we always go to you first, the guest. And basically how Nope or Dope works is, obviously, if you think this thing is dope, you're giving it a thumbs up. If you thumbs down, it's nope. And then you tell us why. I absolutely love chicken wings. I was vegetarian for almost 10 years. 10 years, I think. And the only thing I dreamt about was chicken wings. You know, hot fucking chicken wings.
Yeah.
Buffalo chicken wings. How do you feel about boneless chicken wings?
No.
Why?
It's a fake substitute for the real thing, man.
Yeah.
It's like the kid version. My 10-year-old eats.
What's
Chicken
happening
nuggets.
there?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's not Justin?
I love a good chicken nugget, man.
Chicken nugget.
See,
That's
if you go
different.
full-
Essentially
if you
what
go-
it is, right?
If you go full nugget and call it a nugget, I'm in. But if you try to
Wait.
fancy it up and call it a boneless wing, like, no, that's not.
Wait, you bring up a great point.
I just
It's
don't want to
just a-
get my food. I just want to throw it in there, man.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's a whole thing.
But you guys both bring up a great point. It's just a nugget with
It
buffalo
is. We
sauce
call it
on
something different.
Yeah, it's not a
Get
wing.
more meat out of it, man. You're filling up quicker.
Well, this
You don't have
pizza
a bone
joint,
you're dealing with.
Brandon.
My buddy has a theory that millennials were raised on like chicken nuggets, and this is why they just absolutely love buffalo
Boneless.
wings and every kind of wing and just that
I feel like I
easy,
gotta give
weird
my man
chicken
card
thing.
back saying that comment, but it is what it is.
Devin, if you're at a restaurant and you're given the choice, and I tell you that they're both really good, are you going bone in or bone out?
Depends on the rub to me. Dry rub has to be a wing. Sauce, boneless all day long.
So
No,
you
you
go.
know what it really depends on, right?
It's not how this
Are you
game
with
works.
your
It's
friends,
no
like
joke.
Sorry.
dude friends, or are you with like your family? If you're with dude friends, you're bone in all day because it's like the manly thing. If you're with your kids, you can get away with a boneless wing.
Okay.
That's what it is, man. It's posture.
Yeah. But yeah, mine's pure sauce base. If it's dry rub and baked, it's got to be a wing. If it's saucy, some Korean barbecue or something like that, I'm all in for
Some
boneless.
some
'Cause-
crazy
'cause I'm with Justin,
Parmesan.
I can throw them in real quick and eat them and be done.
I think that's
our hockey team
Fair.
is
That's fair.
We always go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
yes.
And we've named our team name the because we suck at hockey, the Buffalo Wild Wings. But all of our names on the back of our jerseys are flavors like Parmesan.
Wait, but you're the Buffalo Mild Wings?
Mild Wings because we
Yeah,
suck
yeah,
at
yeah.
hockey. But you know Dave, Takatani.
Yeah.
His name is Asian Zing.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
his jersey.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. Let's
That's
save that
good.
for another episode. What would you want your name to be of the Buffalo Wild Wings names? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's good.
Shit. What the fuck was I gonna say about wings? I forgot. We'll move on. Okay. Brandon, I sent you a picture today. I was literally driving my car today and I took a picture and I thought, nope or dope. Cream soda alcohol. Look at this truck. I took this picture this morning on my way. Hey, Grant, just like you, I love my wife. And my wife and I were driving to go have coffee together at a nice little place by the beach. We were chilling in her G-Wag. We didn't take my Lambo. But I looked at this and I thought, vanilla cream ale, Cali cream it. And then look at the tagline. It's like cream soda, but for adults. Nope or dope?
No. No, there's too many things going on there. It just
Yeah,
sounds like
too many.
It sounds like you're trying to mix too many worlds, you know, and it's a stomach ache waiting to happen. Like that's not.
Thank you, Justin. I looked at that and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up in my mouth."
Yeah, that's gross,
You
man.
think of like how thick it probably is. I mean, you don't mess with the classic for one, but for two, I fucking hate cream popsicles. It's not.
Well, I was about to say, who's drinking cream soda anyway? Like,
yes,
people do. Yeah.
They do.
apparently kids, according to this ad, kids.
And then you miss it as an adult, and so you put booze in it and drink more. Like,
Devin, you're a kid. You're a kid.
You asked me
look at
cream
Tristan's
soda. I would think a boomer. I did not think
Okay, all right.
jump
I mean, case in
generations.
point,
or-
look at-
That's very true.
that is
Look at
true,
Tristan's
yeah.
comment.
What's the comment? Shit.
Booze.
Booze, man.
Devin, cream soda and mixed with alcohol. What's your
Yeah,
ad?
I was so nope on this until I actually had it.
You had this?
Yeah, the issue is that you can only have one. Like you can
Okay.
only have one or two, but it is good. But I'm still a nope. It's not something. Beer's beer. I want a beer. I want
Yeah, is it
like this?
What kind of
Point
alcohol
base,
is alcohol?
It's
the
beer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't want to phase it. I don't want to make this less fun. I went and looked it up, and I literally gave you misinformation because I wanted to put another image up, and it had a nice beer in a clear glass, a pint glass. It just looked like a good beer, where I was imagining something much different. So it's just them trying to make a foofy beer with whatever. Which, by the way, I'm also
Let's be honest,
nope on.
They're capturing a market. I mean, think about how many flavors are out. I mean, you have Sunny
Yeah.
D, you have
There's
Sherbert by
tons.
Ashland, which is
Yeah.
No, but this is like,
Yeah.
I don't want a fucking Reese's Pieces ale. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
but think of-
Like,
I don't
Think of the
disagree with
people
you,
that
but I'm
drink
saying like
Guinness.
it's selling.
Yeah, who drinks Guinness, right? Like I'm not a Guinness person. That would be a nope on Guinness. But
Peanut butter.
How does Brandon have this?
Hey, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter.
Peanut butter on my chocolate.
What?
Delicious.
yeah,
Taste
well,
that taste great together.
That's amazing.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Real milk chocolate,
amazing.
delicious peanut butter.
Brandon, how do you have this?
And
Yeah.
Reese's crunchy
I mean, that's a
peanut butter
crazy
cups
pull.
topped with chopped peanuts.
He's a Doc Brown, man. He's already
Yeah,
seen all
it's
these.
crazy.
I assumed Mark would be here and that he would like make a Reese's peanut butter joke. And so like he'd make something like, "Hey, I put my chocolate in your peanut butter," and I was just ready for that. So
oh yeah, well, it's perfect. And by the way, that was genius. To the chat bar, I love that Tristan's getting involved and people are commenting. Bill Hackler says, "Heir to the throne has spoken." Grant, that's my son Tristan, who says booze is booze. He's 21 years old, and as I mentioned earlier, he's our internal sales consultant. But his email signature at Plan Design Consultants, he says, Tristan Carlson, Plan Design Consultants, internal sales consultant, and heir to the throne.
Nice. Well played.
Hackler knows that. All right, one more nope or dope. And this is me personally. Apparently in California, I get this all the time, but people knock on my door trying to sell me shit. So I'm in the middle of a Zoom. I'm trying to do business, and ding dong, knock on the door. What is it? I got to run over there, and it's some fucking dude with some name tag on trying to sell me solar or pest control or fucking who knows what. And I'm getting to the point.
I don't think so, asshole.
I'm getting to the point where I want to put the little sign. I want to go down to Home Depot and get that little placard that you put on your door with sticky. It says no soliciting. So Grant, am I just a boomer now? Is this a stay off my fucking grass kind of thing? Have I lost it?
No, I don't care if it is or not. I'm the same way. I don't. The most anger I have in the world is when somebody knocks on my front door and they shouldn't be. And I live in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, where that's not something you should do. So no, I'm with you. I think it's horrible. And I usually either hide or tell my wife to go talk to them.
Just ignore them.
Yeah, you just hide.
By the way, I've done that before. How long do they stand out
a long
there?
time. You got to be
Yes.
in it. Yeah, you got to be in it. You got to go to a closet maybe. Or I if they don't look scary, I'll just tell my wife she has to talk to them. Like I can't do it. It's bug spray guy again. I can't do it.
Justin, you want to hear my last two asshole moves? when I open the door?
Yeah, absolutely.
I open the door. I look at the guy. He goes, "Hey, I'm Tom from whatever solar." And I go, "Hey," and I look at my my door and I go, "Right here. This is where I'm going to put the no solicitation placard when I get it. I just don't have it yet." And I stare at them. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm definitely a nope. But at the same time, guys, we're in sales. We do the same freaking thing, just over a phone, right? So it's kind of hard to have that outlook on it. But yeah, overall,
You're
I'm
a solicitor.
Is anyone getting massive, that basically the version of that, but all through your text messages now? I'm getting so many texts for the last.
DMV really thinks that I'm behind on my registration.
The DMV is the new major scam. Yeah, all the old people are getting hit by the DMV scam.
Yeah, wow, it's a plus 63 area code, so it's somewhere in Europe. It's probably the Philippines or something. You know?
I got one today that said it was a 943 or something like that, and it said, "Hey, are you back home yet?" I'm like, "Fuck, I was just,
how the hell
who is this?"
That's so weird.
Canadian
like
phone number.
I get mine's different. Like I get hundreds.
We know
of
you have money. We get it.
No. I was going a different way. I was gonna be like, I get hundreds of these. Like, check out this porn site. Like, it's cool.
That's the algorithm working right now, bud.
Grant, remember the old? Grant doesn't remember, but I'm telling him. You guys remember the old Chad Johansson back in the day? For anyone listening, and this is probably like 7 years ago. There's Chad, and he goes, "I don't get this Instagram thing. Like, what's the deal with it? All it is like golf and chicks in bikinis." And we were like, "Chad,
no, that's yours."
Yeah,
that's your algorithm, bro. He's like, "I don't get it. Why is it just golf and chicks in bikinis? Like, so weird." Okay.
Every now and again, you just got to search for some other shit just in case. You know?
Yeah, right. Reset it. All right, let's move on to the very last subject. LinkedIn post from Grant, and he's once again a selfie. Always a selfie. That should be a nope or dope. LinkedIn post with a selfie on there, but I like it. I remember I said I'm a huge fan. Quote, "Oh, good. I'm so glad you aren't wearing a suit," end quote. A new friend / prospect told me at a meeting this week. "I'm not a suit guy anymore," says Grant. "Every once in a while you'll find me in a jacket, but rarely. But it has nothing to do with the right or wrong clothes to wear in a meeting. It's just me being me." God, Grant's so genuine, isn't he? He just
I know when you read it like that in that voice, it sounds way better too, right?
It's just me being me, people. I used to try and figure out what prospects wanted me to wear, say, and do. What is the secret to closing more sales?
It's like you're reading a children's book, man. It's not,
let it all go. Wait, here's the Tony Robbins part. "Then I let it all go. And I started trying to be myself, whatever that means. My business exploded." Okay, now here's what I want to talk about. You're in this picture. You're and we've done fashion on this show before, and I think it's interesting. Here he is, wearing a polo. So I'm going to challenge you. You're saying you're not the suit and tie guy, and we all saw me earlier in the suit, and I've mentioned the cufflinks many times over the past 10 years. Isn't the polo or the golf shirt kind of the new costume for a financial advisor douchebag guy? Isn't this the new suit? Aren't you just doing the new version of the old fucking thing? Like
West Coast.
Go ahead.
West Coast Manhattan tuxedo or whatever they call it. Is that what you're calling? Is that what you're getting?
Oh, well, I'm just saying. He's saying I'm giving him shit now. He's saying, "Hey, I'm not wearing a suit," but he's wearing this little polo, and I'm kind of thinking like, look, unless you live in New York or Boston. I feel like we're here in California so we're kind of biased. Like I think suits are pretty quickly kind of eroding away in financial services. Not completely, but a lot. And now I'm kind of being an asshole now on purpose and seeing like, yeah, but the fucking golf polo or the polo to me is now just the new costume of I'm a financial advisor kind of guy. Why not something, you're following what everyone else is doing. Why not do something a little different? How about some nice dress slacks and a nice dress and a sweater? Or a cool, what do they call the shirts with little buttons right here? A Henley or something. Like, Grant, you're still being a financial guy in your little fucking polo.
Yeah, so I agree with you, partly. And You're missing the point of the post. That's the whole thing. People fixate on the clothes part of it. It has nothing to do with clothes, man. It has to do with our entire conversation being around like, dude, just be you. I don't care what it is. The other stuff doesn't sell. Whatever they're telling you have to wear and say and do, just do whatever you want and own it. That's the whole point of it. And I grew up in private school in the South. So polo is me. I feel that's just what I wear. So it's not, it really, I don't care about
Grant.
Yeah.
I am in San Diego. I've been surfing since I was 7 years old. I have flip-flops on, dirty shorts, and I didn't take a shower today.
Right.
I can't just be me and go to a meeting. There's certain rules you have to apply to this fucking world.
Hold on. You cannot play the devil's advocate right now.
I'm saying his comment there was bullshit. There's reason here. There's rules. There is society.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not wearing sweatpants.
Right.
And you got to be presentable.
But that's what I mean is like, and the context of this is like when I was younger and thinking of like what I had to wear to show that I meant something, I could provide value, right? It's underneath the surface of like, man, if you want to wear a suit, wear a suit. I don't care. If you don't want to wear a suit, don't wear a suit. Like, but it's just don't listen to the talking heads that say you have to do it a certain way. That's
Justin, what are you wearing to live meetings these days in Orange County, California?
I'm a big fan right now of the quarter zip jeans and nicer shoes.
Yeah, quarter
solid.
zip. Little collar, quarter zip.
Yeah, because we're managing.
Jeans.
I mean, we're finance. The bro vest. I was about to say, are you going to pull out the bro vest?
No, I will never do the bro vest. But I spoke at a conference last week, and it was business casual was the dress code, and so that's what I went with. And I show up, and people are still confused. They're still in.
Business casual is lame. I hate that.
They're still in suits. They're still in ties, and I'm like, I was one person like that. I'm like, what the fuck?
If you're the guy wearing the crazy clothes, like you're making a statement in and of itself, right? Like it doesn't. It's just like quit fixating so much on like, well, if I don't wear this, then I don't prove that I know what I'm doing. Like,
no, be comfortable.
Like, you don't want to be a schlub. We're managing money. We're managing money.
Yes, that is what my son said. So he was sitting with me earlier while I prepped, and Devin, I'm going to go to you because Tristan's piping in about Birkenstocks. And
look at that.
I was going to get
wow. That's outstanding.
I brought this up to him, and he goes, "Dad," and this wasn't like a dad looking up to, it wasn't a son looking up to his dad. It was more of like, "Hey, Dad, aren't we in financial services? Like, we're talking about people's money. Like, I feel like we should show up with a little respect, And I was kind of like, wow, it's kind of cool to hear a 21-year-old say like, let's step it up. And that's kind of where I was going with the slacks, the dress shoes. And I love your quarter zip, Justin. But my son, Devin, tell everyone when he shows up to the office where he's wearing work clothes, but what's on his feet?
Well, yeah, he was in Berks, and we were going to see an advisor. And now looking back at it, the advisor would have taken it totally fine because the advisor was a surfer. He was, kind of laid back, but he was in this 11-story.
Hey, don't apply Birkenstocks to surfers because I'm not taking that.
I'm just saying like the more laid back kind of aspect of San Diego of, still on the 11th floor, whatever, overlooks the beach, and he would have been totally fine with it. But my first initial reaction, and this rings true back to Chad and when I was going through and learning from him, and it's almost like one of those things that you don't want to put yourself in this situation when they're already turned off automatically.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's something that you wore or did. So if you go with the most neutral thing possible, someone in a suit and tie is not going to get mad that you showed up in a polo. Someone that's in a t-shirt is not going to get mad that you showed up in a polo. But you show up in Birkenstocks, it's like you don't know. You're playing a 50-50 game on that advisor of will they like working with you or not, no matter the words that are coming out. And I do think that what you wear, it's so funny that you said that because the Birkenstock day rings in my head all the time. And like I show up to work now with flip-flops on, and if I have to put on shoes, I will. If I don't have to, I'm wearing my flip-flops. That's who I am.
You
I
guys
like having flip-flops.
Again, you guys are in San Diego.
For sure.
Because I saw the Boston comments, which is very true. Go to New York and Boston, and I feel like you time warp back 20 years in terms of financial fashion. But two things to close it out. One, my dad as again, Nepo baby taking over the company, my dad used to make comments about my work attire, and I would look him dead in the eye and go, I'm not taking fashion advice from a fucking old man. Like literally, like, and so sometimes you have to let the youth kind of tell you.
Old people.
Yeah.
Old people.
What?
Old people can go themselves.
Why did you?
I'm going to live forever.
Sometimes you let the youth kind of drive fashion and you kind of follow along. Now, to close it out and to Grant's post, and not to get all Tony Robbins, but I went from this right here, short hair, suit and tie, cufflinks. And what eventually happened is, because I had been dragged from San Diego back up to San Francisco to take over the family business. And so that took me out of the water surfing. Then I said, hey, I can surf here, San Francisco, Pacifica. Let me get back in the water. And my old self came back to me. And to Grant's point, I actually started to get some confidence in the business a little bit. And my hair grew and my beard grew and I ditched the suit. And Justin, I love that you said the quarter zip, because that was kind of my thing like 15 years ago, was the quarter zip. And I started to show up to some very serious meetings. Glass conference room, attorneys, 8 of them sitting around. And I've got it. We used to give PowerPoint presentations back in the day, and I had to plug in and put up my shit. And I had a beard. I had blonde, scraggly hair. And I got 2 minutes into my presentation, and one of those attorneys kind of ripped on me for being a surfer. So to your point, Devin, I showed up to that meeting and I gave myself a bogey. Like I had a headwind. Like they didn't like my look. Okay. But, and this is to wrap this all up, but because I had done my homework, and because at that point I had confidence in what I was doing, I feel like that actually was my advantage. And that the people that I was up against all looked the same. But to Grant's point, and it's cliche, cheesy, I was being true to myself. And that fucking resonated in that room. And hard audience, and we won that plan. And that because I was my surfer self, not trying to be a Wall Street financial guy. And that's where I want to end it, is I think that's what Grant's trying to say. That's what Grant's trying to say is, hey, find your truth, and that's going to help you out. But everybody kind of knows that. You know what else? Let me be sure fits. Everybody knows it, but a lot of people lack the confidence to do it. And that's why we all look like clones in this world. Like that's why we all fucking look the same. So,
Todd, you got to find your true north, right?
Thank you to the 2 people that showed up for tonight's show. We appreciate it. Clearly, I've learned not to host a show on Juneteenth, so got it, understood.
Happened again for 7 years.
Our next show will be on July 4th. Tune in. So thank you to you guys, the dedicated people that showed up to watch the show. And thank you to the thousands of you that are now watching this on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, wherever. Thank you to Justin for being here. Thank you to Devin for filling in for those fucking losers at the member guest. We'll find out next time how they did. Thank you, Pankaj. I love you too, bro. Most importantly, thank you to Grant for joining us from Nashville while on the road, for sharing all of the your posts and the efforts that go into your posts on LinkedIn, so we can see a little glimpse into your life, work, life, balance, etc. It feels great to have another 401k pro join our community, be here on this show, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, it was a blast. I appreciate you all having me, but I will say, now, anytime I write a post, I'm going to hear your voice like a storybook child talking like, oh, now look at me. And so I'm ruined. My posts are going to change dramatically from here on out because of your voice in my head.
I mean, there's got to be genres of your art.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
maybe the selfie in every one, like you can mix it up. Let's do something a little different. You know, I don't know what that is. But
JD, maybe not worry about me, brother. Let's just let it ride.
Let
I'm
him
doing
live
me.
his
I'm just doing
authentic
me. I'm
life.
living my
Yeah.
true north, you know?
Okay. You do you, bro. You do you. It has been another episode of Retireholics. We are the Retireholics, and we are. Don't let anyone tell you differently. We are changing the retirement plan industry one beer at a time. For me tonight, it's Chardonnay. I won't tell you what it is because it's too expensive. You can't afford it. Brandon, play us out.
Oh, I hate that one.
Blame it all on my room.
Yes.
I showed up in booze.
This is where Grant runs out on stage.
Before we leave, Grant, how did you sing with that?
We got sang in a church, and we had a lot. We were in Nashville, so we had a lot of people that were in the industry, and we would get called in to sing on albums from time to time. You'd get a call like middle of a Tuesday, and they'd be like, "Can you be at Zach Brown Studios at 9 p.m. tonight?" And you'd be like, "Yep."
That is
And so
sweet.
they would never tell us who the artist was. We just had to either go or not go. And that night I was like, well, it's Zach Brown Studios. Of course I'll be there. Show up at 9. 20 minutes later, they release the call, and then Garth Brooks walks in. And he's like, hey, everybody, we're going to record my new song.